Aho, brothers of the axe. It's Joe. I'm out on the bench today, Saturday afternoon, and we're working on another one, guys. We do not have an axe today. What I am working on today is turning some discarded junk into something usable. And what we're going to be doing is making a big wooden mallet today. And we're going to be making that to package up in a trade with my new buddy Mike. So what I got here is just a croquet mallet that I picked out of the trash. I came by this as I was walking the dog, and this is a stringer board from a big industrial pallet that a buddy of mine collects and gives to me. So before I get into that, though, I'm going to start doing something. I'm a big watch guy and knife guy, along with the axes and all the other vintage tools. So from here on out, I'm gonna start doing a wrist check. And brother Dave, brother Dave's going to be into this. My buddy Dave, my number one good buddy, longtime buddy, is a big watch guy. So we're going to do a wrist check, and today we are rolling with the Phoebos Eagle Ray, and it is 336. So Dave, Phoebos Eagle Ray on the wrist. And yeah, moving forward, we're just going to get right into this, guys. So basically, there is nothing ingenious or complicated about this. I'm just going to cut myself off a handle here. We're going to use a spoke shave to get rid of some of this, stupid looking paint. And I'm going to try to use possibly a paddle bit and throw, get a section of this cut off for the head and use a paddle bit to hog out a hole, and we'll hang this on that. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back with you guys. All right, guys. So I think what we're going to do is the last one that I made, I did a little long. I want to say I did it probably like 8 inches or so, and it didn't look too bad. I didn't mind the way it looked, but I think I would probably want to go maybe around 7. Mark it at like 7.25, 7.5, because what I'm going to do is I use the same block of wood here, and I came in at like I don't know, maybe like a 10-degree angle, something like that, to kind of give the hammer that, that sort of tapered look to the faces. So, and normally I would set this up outside on sawhorses and stuff like that, but it's kind of going in and out of raining, and I'm making one cut here, so I don't really feel like setting all that up. All right, so I'm just going to set the slightest little taper to the blade. Yep. And I know this thing is not going to cut well. I need a new blade for this miter saw. I just did a project for my wife where we made a planter box out of pressure treated pine, and it was even starting to struggle cutting the pine, so this hardwood is going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass to go through here, but we'll get through it. Yeah, you could see it starting to burn. So, new blade in the miter saw, on the miter saw. It's definitely in the future. Before that, though, is for sure cleaning up the shop. The shop is catastrophically dirty right now. So, and you could tell mom, dad, you could tell mom that my mother didn't raise me to be a slob. So, go ahead and tell mom I mentioned her in a video finally, but we're going to get it cleaned up. We're going to get it organized. All right, so I just got the hammer head here, and we're just going to hit it on the belt sander for a little bit, just smooth out some of the roughness to it. You can see too, there's some pretty pronounced cupping going on here in the wood. So I'm going to just hit the sides to try to straighten them out a little bit. Not that it's going to matter, but you know, we're sending it out. We want it to look as nice as possible. Yeah, so we just went around, gave everything a nice little chamfer, nice little sand. All right, looking good. Now probably the most crucial part is trying to get a nice centered straight hole in this thing. So luckily for me, I have a drill press, so we'll try to see what we can do there. All right, so I kind of marked out a tangent on this block here, and I think probably the best course of action is going to be to step up the bits. This is just a hobbyist grade drill press. It's not, doesn't have a whole lot of horsepower. Literally doesn't have a whole lot of horsepower. So, you know, drilling through hardwood is sometimes a lot more challenging. So I'm going to just try to step up as I go. That thing is smoking. Also, I don't know if I have the, I'm not sure what you even call this, the throw. I'm not sure. Not sure if it's going to be long enough actually to go through this piece of wood. So I may have to just use my drill and kind of bore it out. This is probably going to be super hot. Oh yeah, that's hot. Actually, this bigger bit is significantly longer. This might actually get through. Will I have the throat in the press to accommodate, though? That's the question. I don't know why they don't make a place on a drill press to just keep a chuck key. Or maybe I'm just stupid and I don't know if there is one. I don't know. I just keep mine stuck in my pegboard here, but yep. See, a lot of times that's what happens. You get that, it'll get bound up, and now we're in a little bit of trouble. All right, let me try to safely take this thing off, and I'll be right back with you. All right, try that again. buddy. Weather does not know what it wants to do today. It was sunny 45 minutes ago. I was literally grilling lunch. Damn. Anybody that's got a lot of experience doing this kind of work with the drill presses and everything like that, let me know. Am I just kind of trying to push this thing beyond its limits? Shit. All right. I think that might be it. I think we might have to just go right to a hand drill and just hog it out from there. Here's the screw-eating hound herself. So it's going absolutely crazy out there. It's windy, rainy, and this dog will not go inside. She will not go inside. She's got to be outside if I'm outside. So she doesn't want to be outside, but she doesn't want to be inside. And she eats wood shavings. She eats screws. She eats nails. She eats all kind of stuff. Maggie, sit. Sit. Good girl. But she's a beautiful doggy, though. Oh, there she goes. All right, so I'm going to use a 3/4 inch paddle bit. This is, I believe, like a 1-inch dowel that they are using here. So, and I just got this head on a piece of 2x4 because I'm assuming that when I bore through here, it's going to bore a hole right through my tabletop as well. So, all right, let's see what we can do here. Try to get this as straight as possible. All right, we're through. All right, so now what we got to do is just figure out about how long we want the handle. And I'm thinking, oh man, inhaled a lot of sawdust there. Yeah, real smart. Put a black pencil line on the black part of the handle. Nice. All right, and I went back on the belt sander real quick. I didn't film that, but I just cleaned up the tear out in the holes. And again, this is not perfect, and I never claimed to be a professional mallet maker, so but clean it up a little bit more too before we hang it. But I'm going to go ahead and just quickly just snip this off on the bandsaw. I don't think you guys need to see that, and I'll be right back with you. So now all I'm doing is I'm just taking all the grit and the nasty poly and all this paint and stuff, just getting this off the handle. You don't even need to do this, I guess, technically. I just want it to look good. See, I'm just trying to take as little material off as I can. Just get all this paint and stuff off. And actually, it's got these little, you know, sort of indentations, like turning marks for grip, I guess, which is kind of cool. I was initially thinking about just spoke shaving those off, but I mean, honestly, that kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense to keep them on. Yeah, there's a little checking in this, but I'm going to give this quite a few whacks before I send this out to Mike, just to make sure that it's not going to crack on him. Just goes to show you like what a awesome tool a spoke shave is. I mean, you could sit there with, what is this, 120 grit, you know, sit there and get at that finish with 120 grit, you know, for a couple minutes and not get the same results as just with a spoke shave. So I know I sound like a broken record, but if you aren't, you know, currently a user of a spoke shave, you really ought to think about trying one out. All right, so fitting the head on these is actually really easy because it's a perfect circle that you're going through. Really what I do is I just take it on the slack part of the sander and just kind of spin it, and it just eats it, you know, eats the wood away, and it should be like a perfect slip fit. And then I'll just sort of taper the transition so it's not sitting on a shelf. But what I'm gonna do is just kind of mark, just with a piece of tape here, how much I got to take off. Yeah, we want a little sticking out the top. Cool. All right, let's get this shaved down. Cool. I think that's going to work. All right. Let's see. I think we gotta sand just a little bit more. I really want to get this handle proud of that eye. Yeah, let's sand it a little bit more. Chuck it up in the vise here and see if I can't just spin it out. Nah, I think we're gonna have to punch it out. All right, guys, so I hit it really quickly on the sander, and I think this might be our last test fit here. So what I'm going to do is just make sure to give it a good sanding so that the transition is nice and there's not all those tooling marks from the sander. And just make sure that my kerf is in line with the hammerhead. All right. Let's make a wedge. Okay. All right. And let's drive this sucker in. Yeah, that got good spread. Let's see. Cool. All right, and just clean this up a little bit. All right. Not too bad. Not too bad. Relatively straight for boring that hole manually. Cool. So I think I'm going to put my maker's mark on this one. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that yet. I do have a maker's mark. I generally don't use it much anymore. I haven't had the best luck with getting the thing to work really, really good. And I've had a couple instances where at the end of a long project, I went to go burn the handle and it kind of like, either did like a double burning or an incomplete burn. And I had to go back and try to sort of finagle something. Um, but this is going to be easy. This is like a nice flat surface. So should be pretty easy. So you want to heat these brands up for, I don't know, at least a minute or so to get these things hot enough. I've struck a brand a couple times when it was not hot enough, and you just don't get that, I don't know, that kind of sort of penetration. So I haven't done this in about a month or so. And then before that, it's been about probably a solid year since I used it. But I think I'd like to start using it more. I think I just need to practice with it a little bit more. My brand is fairly intricate compared to some I've seen. Not as intricate as others, but it's probably more so just user error than anything. Oh yeah, yeah, that's turning all kinds of cool colors. And usually what I do is I have a piece of similar wood standing by, and then I just kind of, yeah, see, I think we need to get it a little hotter. I've already been heating this up off camera for about a minute or two. And I've heard, sort of mixed opinions on whether to stamp it dry or stamp it damp. I've always had a good success, better success, I should say, slightly damp. So I sprayed this mallet down before I even started heating this up, just with one spray, just regular water. There we go. Yeah, see, you want that plume of smoke. All right. Good one. Pretty good one, pretty good one. Nice. All right, let me clamp this up in the vise. And where's that 120? Here it is. See, I might have left it on the roots just a little too long, the roots of the stamp. But definitely an art to doing these brands, that's for sure. Yeah, like I said, I've had to go back and sand off a bad brand on a really nice piece before, and it sucks. Cool. All right, let's see, where is my oil? I bought some stuff off a guy the other day, a couple tools, and he had this really neat old oiler, like I've seen, almost kind of like the Tin Man oiler, like that kind of deal. But I don't know, he wanted, for what I felt, too much for it, so I left it. But got some other cool stuff. I'm going to be doing a kind of a haul video pretty soon. You know, one of the tool hoarder, Confessions of a Tool Hoarder videos. And a bunch of good stuff, bunch of really good stuff. A couple really, really good scores that I got from the axe meet. A couple scores that I got not necessarily from that meet, but from that weekend. Really beautiful double bit. A grail sort of piece for me that I've been looking for years and years and years. So yeah, we'll go over all that stuff in the near future, guys. Picked up a big lot of tools. So I'm thinking about maybe doing a video of just kind of going through those and making smaller little parcels to put up on eBay, possibly like hammer. It's a big lot of axe heads and then a lot of hammers too. And I'm thinking about maybe putting up some parcels to make a couple bucks back on eBay, and maybe post some stuff up on Hammer Junkies too. Maybe some of the more interesting stuff. But yeah, a lot of good stuff ahead, guys. I got a camping trip planned for September with my buddy Kyle. We're going to film. That should be a good one. That's going to be a 2-night, 3-day trip. I'm going to try to get a lot of axe usage. I'm going to try to do a lot of good cooking. And, of course, some paddling. I'm not going to be fishing. I'm not a big fisherman, but my buddy Kyle is a pretty serious angler. So we'll probably get some cool shots of Kyle fishing. Hopefully he catches a lot. The last time we were out on this particular island, he caught like, I don't know, something like 16 or 17 fish over the course of the day that we were there. We were going to do a 2-day weekend, and the weather wound up rolling in. Well, they said the weather was going to wind up rolling in, so we kind of played it safe, and we did not stay the second day. And then it wound up being, of course, beautiful that Sunday. But rather play it safe than play it sorry. Yeah, I camp in all weather. I've camped in crazy rainstorms and snow and crazy heat and stuff like that. But when you got that element of paddling and that, you know, that water dynamic there, you just really don't want to play around. Especially loaded down boats with a bunch of camping gear and stuff like that. And paddling in the Delaware River too, so you're dealing with boat traffic, that kind of stuff. Cool, man. Well, I hope Mike likes this. All right, well, Mike, I'm sure you're going to be watching this at some point. I am not going to release this until after you get it, man. I don't want to spoil the surprise for you or anything like that. But hopefully you're seating a lot of halves with this thing in the future, man. And good trading with you. Good to get to know you. And I will see everybody on the next one, guys. Take care.